production of speech or presentation can be pretty suspenseful when you don't know what the speaker's going to say next, or you don't know how long they're going to talk. Nothing's worse than looking at your audience when you're up in front of a room as a presenter and looking at them falling asleep and not really being too interested in what you're saying. This all changed when PowerPoint was introduced as a tool to complement presentation. It changed the way speeches were given, and it helped the speaker use PowerPoint as a visual tool to keep their presentation interesting. When PowerPoint was first introduced in 1987, slides consisted mostly of text to help the speaker with speaking points. It has come a long way since it's been introduced in 1987. Today, it's used in classrooms, boardrooms, training facilities, and many companies throughout different industries. It's very rare that you'll see a speaker standing up at the front of a classroom or a boardroom making a presentation without some type of visual aid that assists them with their presentation. I've used PowerPoint for at least the last 20 years now, for school projects, sales presentations, and demonstrations. So I thought that I would come here today and give you some tips on how to put together a presentation that's visually appealing. Research has shown that merely text moving across the screen is not as interesting and doesn't hold your audience's attention as well as maybe putting some fancy images up on a slide. It's more interesting and your audience is less likely to fall asleep. First, today I want to give you just a brief introduction of PowerPoint and its history. The software was first introduced as the name Presenter by a company named Forethought in 1987. Later on, Microsoft bought the company Forethought. They tweaked the software a little bit and it was reintroduced as PowerPoint. The software was initially marketed for Macintosh users and DOS-based computer system users. Throughout the years, new versions have been released and more features have come out within the new versions and have made it so that you can really create some sophisticated presentations today, rather than the bullet points and text that we used years ago. Now that we know how PowerPoint has evolved through the years, let's talk about some ways to make your PowerPoint presentation visible. First, you need to pick a background for your presentation. A plain white background is kind of boring and it's probably going to make your audience fall asleep. So I'm going to go out of the slideshow view here so I can show you. There's three different ways you can pick your backgrounds. You can either pick from the pre-selected ones that PowerPoint gives you. If you're a designer, you can design your own presentation in the slide master mode. Or if you liked a previous background that you used or somebody else used on a PowerPoint, you can browse to that PowerPoint on your computer, and then once you click the Apply button, it applies that background to your presentation. Also, since we're moving away from text and we're talking about images, another way to make your presentations more visually appealing and less boring is to add images and put some animation on these images. There's all types of animation that's available, different timing and different types of the way you can bring your picture in to make your presentation more appealing. And this is an example of one. So instead of using bullet points to talk about all the offices that a company could have, we add pictures and then the presenter talks to that slide. And the way you do this is once you find images out on the internet and you put them on your hard drive, you would import them into your slide. Then you would click on the animation and you would have to animate one picture at a time and click on the various types of animation, and then you can go into the animation pane and either you could have it come in on a click or you could time it. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Another way to add nice visuals to a presentation is to use a tool called SmartArt. And basically all you do is you click on the insert button, you click on the Smart Art, and there's literally not thousands but hundreds of different things that you could choose. This one here I've chosen, and some of them even allow you to bring images in with the text, and you can also animate these. So it looks much better than seeing bullet points. Now that we know how we can add some special effects to our presentations, I hope that the next time you have a presentation, you'll take these into consideration, and maybe when you look at your audience, they'll seem a little more interested in what you're saying, and hopefully maybe remember your speech a little bit better. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Yes. Do you need to have some design experience to put together slides with animation and images?
No, not really. It's just basically, getting pictures off the internet through Google, putting them on your hard drive, and then just using the steps that I showed you to animate them or to use the Smart Art. So it's pretty easy, and no, I don't really think you need to be a designer. Anybody else?
I have a question. Does
Sure.
it take more time to use the animation than just use bullet points?
Yes, it is a little bit more time consuming. You have to plan out where you're getting your pictures from and what pictures make sense to use with your slides. So it is a little bit more time consuming, and you do need to plan out your time a little better, but in the end it's worth it. It makes some really visually pleasing presentations. Anybody else?